The Lok Sabha, it is bracing for a 16-hour political marathon. The government and the opposition, they're armed to the teeth with arguments and accusations. Operation Sindoor, in the meanwhile, it was a message to the world, India's bold and unapologetic message that enough is enough. And on Monday, that message will echo in the parliament. In fact, listen to all the reactions that have come in.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने दिखा दिया है कि भारत के दुश्मनों के लिए, आतंकवादियों के लिए अब कोई ठिकाना सुरक्षित नहीं है। और आज जब मैं हेलीपैड से यहां आ रहा था, 3-4 किलोमीटर का रास्ता काटते हुए, और अचानक मैंने देखा एक बड़ा रोड शो बन गया और हरेक के मुंह से ऑपरेशन सिंदूर का जय जयकार हो रहा था। ये पूरे देश में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने एक नई चेतना जगाई है, नया आत्मविश्वास पैदा किया है और दुनिया को भी भारत की शक्ति को स्वीकार करना पड़ रहा है।
As part of his two-day visit to Tamil Nadu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he in fact participated in the famous Adi Thiruvatharai festival to celebrate the Chola dynasty and birth anniversary of the famous Chola king Rajendra Chola in Tamil Nadu. This event, in fact, also marks celebrating 1,000 years of Rajendra Chola's naval expeditions to Southeast Asia, conquering vast areas. Listen in to what the Prime Minister said.
chola राजाओं ने अपने राजनयिक और व्यापारिक संबंधों का विस्तार श्रीलंका, मालदीव और दक्षिण पूर्व एशिया तक किया था। राजा चोला, राजेंद्र चोला, ये नाम भारत की पहचान और गौरव के पर्याय है। चोला साम्राज्य का इतिहास और विरासत ये भारत के वास्तविक सामर्थ्य का, ट्रू पोटेंशियल का उद्घोष है।
Today's Prime Minister of this country is being unfair, unjust by not giving due share of funds to the people of Tamil Nadu, by not answering the question of delimitation and other vital issues like the denial of education funds. In a democratic setup, the Prime Minister, by not answering the demands and the question of the people of Tamil Nadu, has failed to be just, has failed to be fair to the people of Tamil Nadu. Just by celebrating Chola, this optics is not people of Tamil Nadu want, but we want a genuine representation of democracy.
And a big NDTV exclusive with economist and historian, and more importantly, one of the biggest voices on Cholas, Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal. He spoke about the Chola legacy and also the Prime Minister's Tamil Nadu visit.
There are two aspects here. One is when we celebrate Indian kings, somewhere I think kingdoms like Cholas or the Pandyas from the southern regions don't get that kind of national importance that we've had before. So one is about establishing that. But more importantly, from Peninsular India's point of view, it's about the maritime expansions. It's about the influence in the Indian Ocean region. And that was also a very interesting aspect, whether it was Sri Lanka, whether it was Cambodia, the Cholas sending their fleets out there to establish India's influence there in the Indian Ocean region.
In fact, at least the Cholas are better known. We have a very long maritime history going back all the way to the Harappan period, the Bronze Age. The Cholas are actually fairly late in history. Even if you were celebrating just the state of Tamil Nadu's history, you would probably have to go earlier into, for example, the Pallavas, who were perhaps even more vigorous in terms of the explorations of Southeast Asia and so on. So the point is that we have simply not celebrated, it's not just southern India. This is true of all of the rest of India. Whether you of the Ahoms of Assam or the Pal dynasty and the Sens of Bengal, or the Kadambas of Goa, or the Chalukyas of Maharashtra and the Rashtrakutas. We all have amazing histories for every part of the country, but somehow we are obsessed with this Delhi-centric view that, we should all be grateful to the Mughals for biryani.
Mughals for biryani, of course. I wonder what the Cholas
Which, by the way, is not even true, because you have to understand the Mughals came from Central Asia, where it is dry. They are basically wheat-eating, horse meat-eating people. They didn't even have rice in Central Asia.
My last question to you, sir, reclaiming this as part of India's national strategy today, when you have events of this nature, when we reclaim much of this maritime history and this legacy that we've had as part of national strategy today, it's not just folklore, it's also about sending out a very strong message to perhaps another generation to come.
Yes, I mean, we need to be aggressive in protecting our interests. I mean, why did Rajendra Chola go there to Southeast Asia in the first place? You should know the history of this. What basically happened is the Srivijaya kings of the Sumatra had basically taken control of both the main routes to China. One was the Malacca Strait and the Sunda Strait. The Sunda Strait typically used to be controlled by the Javanese royalty, but they had been defeated by the Srivijaya and pushed out. So essentially, the Sumatrans ended up with a monopoly on the route and began to impose very heavy tariffs. Now, the Sumatrans had been backed in this interestingly, by the Chinese Song Empire to do all of this. So I think the Sumatrans were quite confident that they would continue to be able to heavily tax Indo-Chinese trade. Now, in 1017, Rajendra Chola actually sent a warning to the Srivijaya saying that, what they were doing was extractive and they shouldn't do that. But then later on, in 1025, they set out with a much bigger fleet, which, by the way, would have been funded by these huge mercantile guilds that were part of the... So remember that the trade was not done by individual merchants. They were done by these huge mercantile guilds who had their own navies. And they set off from Nagapatnam, which was the main Chola port. They swung way across to Southeast Asia, and there they defeated the Srivijaya. They first sacked a bunch of their ports and then defeated them in Kedah. Kedah is now in Malaysia, in the Malay Peninsula. And so after that, they came back. So very important to understand that this was not an invasion of conquest by the Cholas. The Cholas never conquered Southeast Asia. What they wanted to do was to keep the trade channels open. And that is why they did that. And after that, it's very interesting. We have a record of a joint embassy by the Cholas and the Srivijaya to the Song court, suggesting that now, the channels had been opened up. And interestingly, the Chinese did not support their ally, the Srivijayans, during this entire episode. So it appears that the Chola had some sort of an understanding with the Song Empire during this whole thing. So what I'm trying to say is that we do have a long history of acting outside of our subcontinent when protecting our economic interests.
As a national power, an international power in the Indian Ocean region, it's not something that's new to India's concept. But sir, my final question to you as I let you go. Today, as you saw the Prime Minister there at Gangaikonda Chorapuram, what do you think is the big message that's come out?
That first of all, we need to begin to relook at our history and think about our great ancestors as a vigorous people. They built great temples, they built entire new cities when necessary. When they needed to, they would protect their interests. So this is a much more vigorous view of ourselves than, we are waiting for somebody to conquer us and give us the railways.
Time for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side. Welcome back. MNS Chief Raj Takre, he visited Matoshri to meet his cousin Uddhav Takre after 13 long years. Amid new signs of political equations, the Takre cousins, they met at Matoshri. Remember, Last time Raj Takre went to Matoshri was in 2012 at the time of Balasaheb Thakre's death. It is also Uddhav Thakre's 65th birthday, so this meeting is being considered important from both personal and political point of view. Meanwhile, earlier also on the 5th of July, both the leaders, they were seen together on the same stage during a rally in which they championed the cause of a stronger Marathi identity.
For the first time in 13 years, Maharashtra Navnirman Sena chief Raj Takre climbed the steps of Matoshri, a place that was once a home for him, but for the last 2 decades has served as the political base of his rival and estranged cousin Uddhav Takre. Could this unexpected reunion signal a shift in Maharashtra's political landscape? The visit came on Uddhav Thakre's 65th birthday, a surprise gesture by Raj Takre, who was accompanied by senior MNS leaders like Balanand Gaokar and Nitin Sardesai. Reacting to the visit, Uddhav Thakre said that the moment brought him immense joy.
आपण असं म्हणतो द्विगुणित, तर नुसता द्विगुणित नाही, कित्येक पटीने तो गुणित झालेला आहे. त्याच्यामुळे नक्कीच पुढचा सगळा जो काय काळ आहे तो चांगला होईल याची मला खात्री आहे.
The brief 20-minute meeting between the Takre cousins has reignited the buzz around a possible MNS-UBT alliance, speculations that had been fading out recently. MNS insiders say Raj Takre has been cautious this time, keeping in mind past experiences from 2014 and 2017. The BJP, however, downplayed the optics, urging people not to read too much into a birthday greeting.
त्याच्या वाढदिवसासाठी अगर कोण एकत्र येऊन अगर शुभेच्छा देत असेल, ते पण कुटुंब अगर एकत्र येत असेल त्याच्यामध्ये वाईट मानायचं कोणाला काहीच कारण नाही. पण ह्याच्यामध्ये खऱ्या अर्थाने राज साहेबांचं कौतुक करायला पाहिजे की त्यांनी मनाचा मोठेपणा दाखवला आणि उद्धव ठाकरेंच्या वाढदिवसाला मातोश्रीपर्यंत गेले.
What's added to the speculation is Raj Takre's birthday post, where he referred to his cousin as Shiv Sena Paksha Pramukh, a title heavily contested since the Sena split. This, even as Eknath Shinde and his camp have made repeated overtures towards Raj Takre in recent months.
बघा, महाराष्ट्राच्या मनात काय आहे हे तुम्हाला विधानसभेच्या निवडणुकीत दिसलं आणि महाराष्ट्राच्या मनात काय आहे हे तुम्हाला ज्या स्थानिक स्वराज्य संस्थाच्या निवडणुका आहेत त्यातही दिसेल. आता काही पक्षाच्या नेत्यांच्या मनात काय आहे ते महाराष्ट्रातल्या मनातलं आहे असं म्हणणं काही योग्य नाही आहे. फार मोठं स्टेटमेंट होईल ते.
For the first time in 13 years, Raj Takre visited his old house, Matoshri. The occasion was his elder brother and Shiv Sena UBT's chief Uddhav Thakre's 65th birthday. What could otherwise be seen as a familial environment or occasion does have a lot of political color as well, especially keeping in mind the rumors that have been making rounds. Makes it very clear that the alliance between the two parties can be announced at any given point of time from now onwards. With camera person Rajendra Dayalkar, this is Anuj Rait reporting for NDTV from Mumbai.
Speaking in Vijaypura, the Congress President Malikah K, he reflected on how he missed out on becoming the Chief Minister of Karnataka despite working tirelessly in various positions to help bring the Congress party to power in the state. Listen in.
CLP leader ಸರ್ಕಾರವನ್ನು ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಬಂತು ಸರ್ಕಾರ, ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಸ್ ಎಂ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅವರು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾದರು. ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ದೆ ಒಂದು 4 ತಿಂಗಳ ಮುಂಚೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸೇವೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸೇವೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀರಾಗಿ ಹೋಯ್ತು. ಏನಪ್ಪ, 1 ವರ್ಷ ನಾವು ದುಡಿದೇವೆ, 5 ವರ್ಷ ದುಡಿದೇವೆ, 4 ತಿಂಗಳದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತದೆ.
The flood situation in Odisha has worsened with flood alert has been issued for 3 districts. Balasore is the most affected district with over 100 villages at risk. Subarna Rekha, Jalaka and Betarani rivers are flowing over danger level, and as a result multiple embankments have been damaged. My colleague Kumar gets us this ground report.
Odisha faces imminent flood swell as Subarnarekha and Jalka rivers you could see are flowing over the danger mark, and this is from the northern Odisha, Baleswar district, Jaleswar, as well as Bhograi, Baliapal blocks, where more than 100 villages are affected due to flood. With upstream rainfall and heavy discharge from Jharkhand's Galudi barrage contributing to such, the state government has placed several coastal districts on high alert, as well as more than 100 villages are affected due to flood. According to reports, Rajaghat in Baleswar, the Suvarnarekha river was flowing at 9.5 meters today, wherever the water level of 9.4 meter is the danger mark. Authorities, locals, administrations, district administration, state government has urged that the flood threat is going to affect the northern Odisha. Right now, we are from Baleswar district, Baliapal block, which is the block which is mostly affected due to flood. You could see flood waters have already entered to the residents, to the house, to the village, and people are quite affected, greatly affected due to flood. Restoration works as well as rescue and relief are being done over here. Restoration work is also going. Relief centers, homage houses also been done to settle the conditions, and also as well as to shift the villagers to the rescue place. From Baleswar, Bhograi, Dev Kumar reports for NDTV.
Star's favorite fashion designer Manish Malotra, he hosted a glamorous evening in New Delhi with his famous Bollywood pieces on display to a curated immersive fashion experience. Mayank Chaudhary gets us this report.
Synonymous with Bollywood glamour, fashion designer Manish Malotra threw an intimate, exclusive and an unmissable first ever couture party on the fourth day of the ongoing India Couture Week. Top fashion designer ditched a traditional runway and opted for a glam gala celebrating the craft of Indian couture. Among several who's and who of the fashion and film fraternity, special guest was Brazilian supermodel and former Victoria's Secret angel, Alessandra Ambrosio. Shimmering in a silver sleek modern lehenga sari, Ambrosio set the ramp on fire. Singer Jonita Gandhi sang a medley of her hits as models posed in Manish's creations. A one-of-a-kind fashion installation displayed some of Malotra's most iconic pieces, from DDLJ green lehengas to Rihanna's rubies.
We are at the Manish Malotra Couture Party, and right here we have some of his most iconic pieces. Right from the Bollywood days, we have Kajol's green set to Aishwarya Rai's iconic white sari from Cannes, and again we have Rekha's piece that she wore on the cover of Vogue Arabia. We also have Priyanka Chopra's Desi Girl sari. It is just absolutely beautiful. Manish Malotra, like nobody else, has thrown the first ever couture party right here in the capital at the ongoing India Couture Week. This is Mayank Chaudhary for NDTV.